The hawksbill sea turtle is currently critically endangered and population sizes are continuing to dwindle. The hawksbill sea turtle is a turtle that weighs anywhere between 100 to 200 pounds depending on sex and age. They can be found in the tropical oceans and coral reefs of the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. The most concentrated hawksbill populations are found in and near the Caribbean Sea, Seychelles, Indonesia, Mexico, and Australia. Their average diet consists of mainly sponges, but also includes different types of sea anemones and jellyfish. One hawksbill turtle consumes on average 1,000 pounds of sponge per year, an incredibly large amount. Interestingly enough, the large amounts of sponge consumed by the hawksbill makes their flesh toxic for humans to eat. With that being said, the hawksbill turtle is still being hunted for its flesh. There are many factors that have caused the critical endangerment and a decline in hawksbill populations. The largest threat to the hawksbill turtle is the wildlife trade and the capture of these animals for their shells. Once captured, their shells are turned into tortoiseshell items including jewelry, combs, art, and tools. Between 1950 and 1992, Japan imported about 2 million turtles for commercial uses, as mentioned before. In order to address this problem, the World Wildlife Fund is working to reduce turtle harvesting and trade in the Coral Triangle. The Coral Triangle refers to a triangular area of the tropical marine waters of Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Papua New Guinea, Timor-Leste, and Solomon Islands. In Malaysia, the World Wildlife Fund is helping to spread awareness of the importance of protecting the hawksbill turtle and the threats of this species faces. A lack of economic choices throughout the Coral Triangle leads to the exploitation of turtles, such as the hawksbill. Therefore, the World Wildlife Fund is working to create alternative livelihoods for locals in this area. Lastly, the organization Traffic is a wildlife trade monitoring network created by the World Wildlife Fund in order to help address this issue. Despite the hawksbill's protection under organizations like the World Wildlife Fund and CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, there are still alarming amounts of illegal trade occurring throughout the world. Displays where it is legal to hunt endangered turtles. The whole continent of Australia has no protective legislation for turtles, but is where a majority of them reside. As displayed in this graphic, the hawksbill sea turtle has the second highest legal take per year of all the endangered turtle species, at 3,456. This means they are being killed in areas with no ban on turtle hunting. Another threat to the hawksbill turtle population is pollution. Plastic and other trash items that find their way into the oceans can cause great harm to not only the hawksbill turtle but other marine species. In Marathon, Florida, a hawksbill sea turtle was found in the water and appeared to be ill, so a few boaters picked him up and brought him to a nearby turtle hospital. The doctors took x-rays and found that there were odd objects that were blocking his digestive system. These objects turned out to be trash that he had ingested. This is just one example of the threat that our population poses to these harmless animals. Many sea turtles, including the hawksbill, either eat trash or get stuck in it and can often die. One solution is to reduce the amount of pollution that gets released into the ocean. Also, using less plastic and making the transition to more biodegradable materials can help. Here's what one company is doing to make a change in the positive direction.
The evolution of beer has come so far. It's gotten craftier, tastier, and kind of smarter.
Pretty much most of the companies are using them now.
Perhaps the most innovative idea in beer isn't the double IPA, rather the holder that carries them, an idea belonging to these guys at Saltwater Brewery in South Florida. They are finding a way to put an end to these old plastic holders, proven deadly to wildlife.
Saltwater Brewery presents edible six-pack rings. A six-pack ring that feeds animals instead of killing them.
The holder is crafted from the byproducts in the brewing process. It's 100% biodegradable, and yes, you can eat it, but probably won't want to. Marine life, on the other hand, will love it compared to plastic.
Bycatch is another main threat to the hawksbill sea turtle. Bycatch is the entanglement of turtles and other marine animals in gill nets and the hooking on fish hooks. If the hawksbill is caught on a fishing hook, they can potentially drown because they must reach the surface to breathe. As the fishing industry expands and activity increases, the threat to these marine animals becomes more prominent. One solution to this problem is to use more turtle-friendly fishing hooks called circle hooks instead of the traditional J-hook that fisheries use. WWF also recommends using turtle excluder devices in fishing nets. The World Wildlife Fund has set up an international competition called Smart Gear. This competition attracts creative ways to help solve bycatch problems through the innovation and ideas of average citizens. If high levels of bycatch, illegal wildlife trade, and large amounts of pollution continue to increase, future hawksbill population numbers will continue to decrease. This could lead to the extinction of the hawksbill turtle. With that being said, if solutions to these problems improve the situation, then population sizes have the ability to increase to a healthy number. The problem with the hawksbill turtle impacts us locally because whether or not we like to accept it, our actions affect this species. The plastic water bottle that you throw on the ground will eventually find its way into the ocean and can cause harm to marine wildlife like the hawksbill turtle. Globally, the hawksbill turtle helps to maintain the health of marine ecosystems, coral reefs, and seagrass beds. There is also a high tourism value and cultural significance of the hawksbill sea turtle. Local residents of the Coral Triangle depend on the influx of visitors who come to admire the turtles for a steady source of income. The first thing you should remember from this presentation is that our actions can directly influence the health and well-being of other species. This is important because something like pollution is so easy to fix. It's as easy as throwing away your water bottles into the recycling instead of on the ground. The second thing to remember, trade is illegal. It is the main threat to species like the hawksbill turtle and is easy, like pollution, to manage. Lastly, remember that the hawksbill turtle is a harmless animal who is being hunted for their aesthetic qualities. Everything that can be done to stop this horrible action should be done.